Hi there, my name is Richard Payne and I'm the head coach of Healthy Results Training. What I'm going to do is each and every month I want to give you 5 tips that I'm going to have you implement into your training for this time of the year. Each month we're going to progressively change those tips, and the goal is going to be to really change the way you train and think about training as you progress into the next season. So it's November. What are the key things we want to be working on right now in November? What are those small things that really will make big changes come your next season? So let's start with number 1. Re-energizing your body. We are notorious as triathletes to smash ourselves in the pool, out on the bike, on the run, in the weight room, in the yoga studio. It's crazy. We love to do so much. Our bodies need to take a break. We know that we get stronger and healthier when we allow our bodies to recover. Well, after a long season, you need to make sure you've taken that time. Too often, I know a lot of triathletes, they finish their triathlon season and they move right into a marathon, a half marathon, into some other events. So it's really important that when you've sort of finished all those goals, you need to have at least a 2 to 4 week break where you just chill out. It doesn't mean you don't do anything. It just means you give yourself a little bit of a break. So number 1 is to remember, re-energize your body. Give yourself both that physical and mental break. Number 2, work on your weakness. Okay, so often, year in and year out, you see the people doing the same thing. They're frustrated that they do all this hard work, yet the same things keep failing them. Go back into this season. Look at what am I weak at and what can I correct. Okay, so thinking about in the swim, am I not getting that catch? I don't understand this catch thing. Talk with your coach. Understand how to have a proper arm catch so that you can build that power. On the bike, if you're not pedaling in a full pedal stroke, you're not using all the muscles that you can properly utilize to help build that power. This is the time of year where we don't care what your wattage really is, where you really can work on this efficiency. Maybe your hips are rocking all over the place when you're on the bike. Maybe your torso is rocking over. This is the time where you can work on perfecting that technique so that as the mileage ramps up in January, February, depending on when your big races are, you will be ready and have that proper technique that now build into the volume. Okay? So first, re-energize yourself. Secondly, weakness. Third, goes along with our theme of weakness. I want you working on core. Okay? I've got some simple core exercises I want you to work on right now that really aren't too high tech, and you know most of them. Number 1 exercise within our core is I want you doing plank. I want you trying to hold that plank position. That's out on your elbows, out in a push-up position, and I want you holding a nice static, still core where the spine is staying completely neutral and you're holding a nice even position. So that's exercise number 1. Do that 2 to 3 times every day, okay? And challenge yourself for 45 seconds to 60 seconds, okay? Exercise number 2, staying, and I'm not sure with my video whether you can see me, but standing on one foot, again, nice tight core. I want you standing on one foot, keeping your balance and working a little bit of agility, and I want you squatting down on one foot, keeping your body nice and tight, going down, have a block in front of you that you can sort of touch at your lowest level of squat, coming up. Again, now we're implementing static core, nice tight contraction, working the pelvis as well, and working a little bit of balance and agility in the legs. You can take this one, do about 10 on one side, 10 on the other. It will really help strengthen the muscles in the hip, and again, working on the core. Side plank is number 2. You're on your elbow, up on your side, lifting up and dropping down. It's really important that as you can do it in a static hold, so you can go up and lift in that side plank, or if you'd like to have movement in there, that's fine too. You can drop the hip down until it touches the floor and come back up. My 4th exercise that I love, and I think the simplest type of core exercise that you can do, is I want you on your back in more of a traditional sit-up type position. And all you're going to do is you're going to hold yourself at about 45 degrees, and all I want you to do is holding yourself in that position. So imagine if I'm sitting on the ground right now, my feet are up, I'm leaning back, not touching the mat with my lower back, keeping my back nice and tight, nice and neutral, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to raise my hands up over my head, and then bring them back down. So if you work on those 4 little exercises, I promise you those will really help strengthen your. These are not weight room type exercises. These are exercises I want you doing every day to really connect with your body to help build that strength. Okay? So that's really, really, really important. Now, if anyone is totally confused with what I just said there, send me an email and I'll be happy to send you some images of those exercises I just recommended. So, going back over, re-energizing our body. Number 2, we're working on our weaknesses. Number 3, we're working on our core. Our 4th one is we're working on our attitude towards training. It is so, so important that we think about how we approach our sport. How do we approach our training? It is critical. We do all these hours. We worry about wattage. We worry about technique. We worry about our pace. Yet it really comes down to how our brain is connecting with our body that really makes the biggest difference in how we're actually going to perform. You know, everybody knows someone, maybe even yourself, someone who is much fitter in training than they've ever actually shown on race day. So we need to get our bodies and mind connected together. So this is a great time of year where we're not stressed about performance to really create the attitude that you want to have as you go in. So I want you into this race season. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about a couple things as you're going through your training. What type of workouts do you absolutely hate? If you have a coach that you're working with and you have a certain workout they're giving you that you absolutely despise, and I tell this about my clients all the time, I ask them, if there's a type of workout you don't like, tell me. Because if mentally you don't enjoy that effort, then working with your coach or working with someone else that's very knowledgeable, you can come up with a different way that you do enjoy doing a certain aspect of training that is going to cover the same. So finally, ending with probably the more complicated of all 5 tips is rapid drills. So we've all been to the track or you've seen people doing these silly marching drills and all these other things. I want to introduce to you 3 swim, bike, and run rapid drill that is going to really help improve you and get you ready for your base phase and then really ready for your build phase into next season. Firstly, rapid speed skills, people don't quite understand what they're for. These rapid drills I'm going to explain to you are really, really important. They are intervals. They're short in length. They are 15 to 30 seconds in length at maximum. Their goal is to create a neuro and muscular response. So working with the nervous system, signals coming from our brain to our muscles, but in a sense, or in a length of time that is short enough that we're not creating any fatigue. Remembering, we're in an off season. We're not in a build season. We're not trying to tax the lungs and hearts right now. We're trying to regenerate. We're trying to work on our weaknesses. We're trying to create that growth so that we're ready to go for base phase. So rapid drills, the idea is to get your muscles used to what it's going to be like to run at a much faster pace, to swim at a much faster pace, but we're not doing it at any extent that's creating any long-term overtraining fatigue. Okay? When I let people go off, and whether it's intervals in the pool, on the bike, or on the run, people all of a sudden become sprinters. This is not a sprint. This is an acceleration. Each interval you do, you're going from an easy state to something that's above your race effort. Okay? This is taking you to a level that you would do for an interval, not just for a 25 meter or 15 to 30 second interval. That's really, really important. I'm not interested in you sprinting and seeing how maximal effort you can put out. That's not the goal. The goal is to just take yourself outside your comfort zone for a few seconds and then ease it up. If you go too hard in these drills, you will injure yourself. So I want to really caution someone there. So I hope you enjoyed those tips. I look forward to seeing you guys out there at training sessions. And again, if anyone has any questions, you can find at healthyresults.ca our contact link. Please feel free to leave me a message and I'd be glad to get in contact with you. All the best and happy training.